We live in a world where it's so easy to just sit there and hit the Benjamin all day and scroll on reels and go on your phone and hit up your plug, get you some mushrooms, have a spiritual experience that day, or you can just get wasted with your homies and waste away doing something else. My point is, we live in a very interesting time period. I mean, back in the day, it would be like a ritualistic thing. You would have to take your joint, you'd have to roll up, you'd have to find, a good smoke spot. You'd have to make sure you don't smell. Now, it's just so easy. It's just so easily accessible, and especially me being from a pretty small town where about 90% of the students there smoke weed and or do other drugs. I'm willing to bet like 99% of the students vape there or smoke cigarettes, but you know what I'm saying? Of course, I was inevitably gonna do it. And me, I did start pretty early, like really, really early. We'll get into that, but I pretty much just wanted to talk about all my drug experiences because, as you may know, my song Acid has just released on all platforms, and it kind of has something to do with what I'm talking about. I mean, it's only one drug, but out of the many drugs that I've done. In fact, it would be easier for me to list off all the drugs in which I haven't done as opposed to the ones that I have, because there are honestly too many to count. But I guess I'll just start off with my first time smoking weed. So my first time smoking weed, I was 11 years old. I just got off the bus, 5th grade, still in elementary school, just got off the bus, and then I see my older brother taking a walk. And at this time, he was getting geeked. I knew exactly what he was doing. For whatever reason, I just decided to follow him. And then when I finally caught up to him, he's like, "What the fuck?" And I'm just like, "I know what you're doing, Andre." And he probably thought I was gonna like snitch on him or something, but really, for whatever reason, I just begged him to let me smoke with him. And he didn't even want to let me at first. He wasn't going to. But then I kept nagging him and nagging him, followed him all the way to his smoke spot. And then I just remember we're like in the woods. He sits down on this log and he just pulls out a fucking crack pipe. And he's just like, "Don't tell mom and dad." And he's smoking weed out of this crack pipe, and I'm still over here begging him, blah blah blah. He's not gonna let me. He's like smoking bowls. I'm over here begging him to let me get a hit. Eventually, he finally lets me get a hit, and that turns into us smoking bowl after bowl together. I'm 11, he's 13, and by the end of the smoke sesh, it might have just been placebo, because I don't know if I was actually high. It would be kind of crazy if I was, because like 11 years old, I mean, I have been way higher than I was that day. But yeah, so we end up smoking, and then I go back to my house, and my dad is like, "Are you almost ready for practice?" I'm like, "Fuck, I have basketball practice." And I know I probably sprayed like that much cologne, so I really just fucking reeked of cologne. Instead of just like changing my clothes, I went to the basketball practice in the clothes that I was wearing that was covered in weed and cologne. It's an all around like terrible mix. Everybody probably knew. I think my eyes were all red. And then my dad ended up asking me, "Are you high?" And I'm like, "No." And he's like, "Your eyes look all red." And he's like, "Did your brother smoke you out?" I'm like, "No." And then he ended up just letting me do my thing at practice. And that was my first time smoking weed. But the thing is, since I kind of got like caught, I didn't actually end up smoking again until like 13 years old. It was roughly the end of 7th grade, and I had just started hanging out with this one friend, and he had a dab pen. I didn't hit this dab pen at all, but pretty much he like gave it to me for some reason, so I had the dab pen in my possession. And then that night I decided to hit this dab pen, and I remember I was like blowing it out my window and everything. "Sonny, come here." And I remember I was like blowing it out the window even though it's a dab pen, but I chiefed the fuck out of this dab pen. I think I took like 7 hits, like 7 decent ass hits. I just hit it, blew it out the window, hit it again, blew it out the window, hit it again, blew it out the window. I didn't know nothing about dab pens. I didn't know they were like this strong, especially as someone who like probably had no tolerance, because this is like, I would say, my first time actually getting high. And yeah, I remember I just took hit after hit, and then right when I blew out the last hit, I think it was like the 7th hit, I just remember right when I blew it out, everything just changed, and I was so astronomically faded. Like, I would look one direction, it was like my vision was just like lagging completely, like my body felt crazy, my thoughts were all different. That was the first time my mind was actually like altered, and I was like tweaking. It wasn't fun. It wasn't fun at all. I just remember I was like sitting there scrolling on TikTok, just trying to do whatever to like distract myself. Then maybe a week later, I meet up with that same friend. We smoke some bud this time. I think we smoked like a joint and then a blunt, and I got faded again. But it was like good this time because I was with a homie, and I remember we went into the kitchen and we were eating some like cinnamon rolls, and we were just laughing the whole time. I'm actually gonna play a clip of that because I still have the video. We were faded as fuck, and it was a good time, and that's when I really started smoking weed, I guess you could say. Like, that's when I learned how good it could be, which is like not a good thing. And so yeah, that is the beginning of my journey as a geeker. I was like 13, and that lasted me until I was like 18. That was like the gateway. And so the next drugs that I want to talk about is psychedelics. And so now I'm like 14. I had been smoking weed for about like a year, and I came to the conclusion that I don't want to say weed wasn't enough. It was more like I was just so fascinated by the way my mind could be altered, and I wanted more. I mean, there was other drugs out there. I had to know what they were like. And so I think the first other drug I really got into was psychedelics. And so yeah, now I'm like 14, and I'm with 2 friends. We get a hold of some shrooms somehow. Fuck whoever the fuck sold us some shrooms. Like, we're straight up kids. It's just absolutely fucked up. But, and so yeah, I just remember we took these shrooms. 30 minutes later, they kicked in, and we were all just talking about the crazy body feeling we had. We could not use any other words to describe it besides pure euphoria. We just kept saying, like, whoa, this is euphoria. This is what euphoria feels like. And not only that, but the visuals were crazy. I mean, I was seeing eyeballs and shit. I was seeing all sorts of crazy shit, patterns, but it wasn't a bad trip at all. It wasn't scary at all, which is weird because I've had other trips where I wasn't even tripping as hard, but like, I would just have bad trips. But psychedelics I have a pretty long history of. I mean, that's why I made a song about it. I guess the song doesn't fully encompass the stuff that I went through on that, but it's still a good song, so you should go stream that. But yeah, after taking those drugs, I probably fell more in love with how my mind can be altered. And yeah, I'm 14, and I would probably take psychedelics at least probably like once a week if I'm being real. Straight frying my brain, straight geeking, not knowing what the fuck I was getting myself into. I knew the consequences, but like, I low-key wanted to see for myself, you know? Like, I heard psychedelics would make you crazy if you did them too much, and I'm like, fuck, I kind of want to be crazy. Do not follow my footsteps. Horrible mistake on my part. And I guess that's all for now that I have to say about psychedelics. You know, I got into it too early, did it too often, seen some things that I shouldn't have seen, and I will never be the same again. In fact, I'm still currently tripping as we speak. I haven't even tripped in like 2 years. I haven't tripped since I was like 16, because I just got stuck in a fucking perma trip that has never fully gone away. It's gotten better. It's more like I've learned to live with it, I guess. Like, at first it was scary. I'm like, damn, like, I don't want to be tripping right now. Everything would just feel fake. I later learned that's called derealization, which is part of being a teenage geeker. Everything would just feel fake. It was terrifying. Like, you can't concentrate on anything. You can't concentrate on relationships. You can't socialize. You can't be a normal person when everything just feels like it's a fucking video game. But now it's more like, it's kind of cool, I guess. Like, I can look around and feel like I'm in like a video game or something, but it's kind of cool, you know? Now I think it's time we move on to the Cocaine Chronicles. Cocaine is an interesting one for me, because it would never actually like do anything to me. The only thing I really liked about it is snorting it. It would low-key just feel good to like snort it. And even now that I'm talking about it, ooh, damn, I kind of want a line, but I'm not gonna do that because I ain't no geeker anymore. But like, it really didn't do anything to me. And like I said, it would be easier to list off the drugs that I haven't done, because I probably can't even get into all the drugs that I've done. But I'll tell you about 2 more profound drug experiences. So there's a period where I was snorting Adderall a lot. I would not sleep. I was just straight snorting Adderall night after night. And I'm pretty sure that shit put me in psychosis. I mean, like, I remember being in my room. I was seeing flashing lights and bright colors and shadow figures and just like random shit popping. It would be like jump scares, like a flashing light like coming to my face, and it would make me like, you know, like dodge out of the way. But it's indescribable, bro. I can't even describe it, but that was creepy. And I even called my grandma. I'm like, there's something seriously wrong with me. I think I need help. But really, now that I look back, I fucking snorted my way into psychosis. And so yeah, that is one negative effect of being a teenage geeker. And other profound drug story I have is DXM, cough syrup, Delsum, triple C's, whatever you want to call it. I had done DXM a few times, but you know, it never really did anything crazy. The way DXM works is there's plateaus. So if you go on one plateau, it's like one experience. It'll be comparable to like alcohol. If you go to the next plateau, it'll be a whole different experience. It'll probably be comparable to like light doses of psychedelics mixed with like opiates. But if you go to past that and go to the 3rd plateau or the 4th plateau or whatever, then it starts to become like a real dissociative, almost like ketamine. And so there was a time where I had drinking, what was it, 2 full big bottles of Delsum? It might have been 2, either that or just 1. All I know is I was in like the 4th plateau, because I would research this shit before I did it. I tried to think I knew what I was getting myself into, but I really didn't. And so pretty much I just remember listening to music. That shit was like uncomprehendable. Like, I could not vibe with music because like you're just so dissociated. Like, you just can't even comprehend music in a way. I can't even explain it. And then I remember like my parents calling me to talk to them. So I walk out of my room, I go into like the kitchen. It felt like I just like teleported there. And I don't remember what we were talking about, but I'm willing to bet I probably sounded like this, just like completely fucking zoned and completely fucking out of it. Probably like 10 times worse than that. I can't even impersonate myself, but like, I guarantee I was slurring my words. Probably sounded like I was on hard drugs, because I was. And as this shit kept getting more and more intense, I was straight up feeling like I was gonna die. Fucking wasn't fun. The crazy thing is, like, I remember I didn't have a remote for my TV, so I would have to like go up and press the button. Like, bro, like when people say they can't walk, let's say on like alcohol, they probably mean they were like stumbling or something, you know, just like stumbling. They're having a hard time controlling my body. But when I tell you I couldn't walk, I mean, like, I literally had to relearn how to walk like I was a baby. Like, I probably looked like this trying to stand up, like it's trying to get up, and then as I'm walking, I'm like trying to take a step and like just, I gotta trust myself, you know, almost there, one more step. And it's just like a long journey to get to the TV that's right there. And that was crazy. Like, you know, fucking Wolf of Wall Street, dude? I was in the fucking cerebral palsy phase, dead ass. That's what the fuck it felt like. seriously couldn't walk. Never had that experience on any other drug. It was crazy. It's not fun not being able to control your body. Like, shit, I can fucking move around, I can fucking do whatever the fuck I want to do, I can fucking, you know what I'm saying? You can't do that when you're on high doses of DXM, you just can't. And now I value that. I value my cognitive functions, I value my motor functions, I value being able to fucking speak clearly and move at my full capacity. But the craziest thing that DXM did, my brother walked into my room. I think he asked to hit my pendulum. I let him hit my pendulum, and I was just sitting there looking at him, and I was just thinking, damn, this one's gonna be hard to describe. Like, I was looking at him, I knew he was my brother, I knew he was supposed to be my brother, but that was such a crazy thought to me, because I think like all my memories were wiped. Like all my memories of him in the past were wiped, but I knew it was supposed to be my brother, but I was just looking at him and I like did not recognize him. And I know you're gonna have a hard time understanding that, but like that's pretty much what it felt like. I knew it was supposed to be my brother, but I didn't recognize him. And that's bad. You're not supposed to be that fucked up. You know? Like that is when you are losing your grip on reality. And so yeah, in essence, I would just geek all the time, like every day. Started for when I was 13, well technically 11, but really when I was 13 and I took those 7 rips and I was completely out of it, to pretty much, I'm 18 now. I stopped smoking weed like a week ago, or maybe like 2 weeks ago. Pretty much within that whole time period, I was just sitting there like getting geeked all the time. What do I think the consequences were to that? Well, I was pretty much just frying my brain, dude. Distorting my perception of reality. Fucking pretty much just making myself brain dead. And I don't know if I'll ever fully recover from that. This is probably important to get into. I probably should have started with this, but when I was a kid, I was hella smart. I mean, like in school, I was 2 grade levels ahead in math. I've always been good at English. I've been a good writer. I have a pretty strong vocabulary. I have good grammar, punctuation. I know how to write good. Long story short, I was a good student. And when I started doing drugs, I stopped giving a fuck about school. And things that would come easy back then just started to pretty much get hard. Like school probably would have been a lot easier if I wasn't doing all those drugs. A big thing is the money. I would spend crazy amounts of money on drugs. I would probably have a lot more money to my name if I had never touched the stuff. And like social relationships, bro. This is one that's gonna fuck with me. All the relationships I've built over the past, you know, like my whole teenagehood, were pretty much just built up doing drugs. And now that I'm not doing that anymore, everybody I used to hang out with, they probably think I'm the loser. Oh, he ain't cool no more. He doesn't want to smoke no more. He became a fucking weirdo. But see, that's pretty far from the truth. And I wish I would have just surrounded myself with better people so I could be a part of like that clique. And I mean, now that I'm an adult, now that I'm a fucking hustler and I make music, like I do not relate to any of those people that I used to hang out with at all. I honestly see them as a bunch of losers. And like, oh well, you know. And now, you know, like, I mean, my whole perception of reality has changed. Like, it's the way I used to think about stuff, the way I would literally see the world. It used to be different. And like, I don't think I'll ever get that back. And it's really easy. Like I said, being from a small town where there ain't shit to do, and like the only fucking activity everybody's doing is smoking or doing drugs. Like, it's really easy to get into that stuff. The admirable people, the respectable people, are the ones who are able to do that and stop. I mean, it's also respectable if you've never gotten into it. But low key, I mean, who are you if you never had like crazy drug experiences? Like, what do you know? I mean, there's been, bro, like every single day from when I was like 15 to like 17, I would say. Every single day when I was doing those crazy drugs, which I haven't even, it would take too long to talk about all that. But every single day, I would be thinking I was dying every day because I would take too much drugs. I'm like feeling my pulse. I'm thinking like I'm about to die, and it was never really fun. But you know what it would do? It would make me feel alive, and that's probably what I was going for. Like, why the fuck would you do something that's gonna make you feel like you're gonna die every time? Why would you go back to doing it? I don't know, but I kind of regret it. At the same time, I don't, because, I mean, who would I be if I didn't do that? I'm me. I like who I am. I got a lot of crazy stories I can talk about, you know. I would probably just be like an NPC if I never got into that shit. Yeah, for like 2 weeks now. I've pretty much been sober off everything. Only thing I'm doing is smoking cigarettes. And I feel great. I have no interest in going back to that. Like, and this is coming from someone who was geeking, straight geeking from 13 through 18. That's 5 years of geeking. And yeah, now that I'm sober, I can actually talk clearly. I can think clearly. I have so many responsibilities, and I can actually organize them in my head and like figure out what I gotta do. Like when you're so faded all the time, it's so extremely hard to keep track of all your responsibilities, if that makes sense. Like, you know, you just live one day at a time. There's no room for like planning ahead all meticulously like that, because that's really what you got to do, at least for what I want to do. You really got to like be locked in. Automation or accept it's a hobby. So yeah, pretty much started smoking when I was 13. Got into other drugs at like 14. I was doing other drugs until I was like 18. Frying my brain, avoiding responsibilities, forming poor relationships with the wrong people. So what I'm really trying to say is, if you have the opportunity to just go without any of that, you really should do that, because drugs have robbed years of my life. I mean, it robbed my whole, you know, teenagehood. Just being straight geeked, not being able to enjoy anything for what it is. Always having to get high before I do something fun, you know. And a lot of people I know are still like that. They probably can't see themselves stopping, which is like sad. I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. Like, the only thing that kind of brightens up your day is fucking getting high. And you think you need that, but you really don't. Like, if you could just learn how to be happy without it, like, that is ideal. Anyway, I pretty much just wanted to come out here and share my experience being a teenage geeker, kind of tell you what it did for me and what it robbed from me. And yeah, that's pretty much what my experience was. And now that I'm here, I'm sober, clean, it's just me and my music, man. So go stream my song Acid, because that song talks about one big part of my drug journey, psychedelics, definitely a big part of it. And stay tuned for my next video, because I'll have a different topic to talk about. Next one is going to be more about love, my experience with love. So let me know in the comments if you fuck with this. Leave a like on this video. And yeah, go stream my new song, subscribe, whatever you gotta do.